Hello! Today I have another book review video for you people. Today is all middle grade books. I've got 5 books, including 2 contemporary books and 3 fantasy books. The books that I'll be reviewing today are Wonder by R.J. Pellico, Summer of the Gypsy Moths by Sarah Pennypacker, Tuck Everlasting by Natalie Babbitt, The Swap by Megan Schull, and Alice Through the Needle's Eye by Gilbert Aldair. There will be timestamps in the description if you're interested in anything in particular. First is Wonder by R.J. Pellico. You probably know what this is about because it's super popular, but I'll explain it anyway. This book follows a boy named Augie. He was born with some sort of disease that caused his face to be really messed up, and he had to go through a lot of surgeries, so he's been homeschooled most of his life, but his surgeries start letting up and he starts going to public school for the first time. And so this book follows him while he's in that transition and how people treat him differently and stuff like that. I really enjoyed this book. It was definitely really good and it was entertaining. The writing was a little juvenile but not bad. The book actually switches from a bunch of different points of view. Some of them were really random. A lot of people said they didn't like that part, but I really enjoyed it because we got to see how Augie's disformation affected all the different people in his life. So it was really interesting to read. The formatting was a little weird too. It took me a little bit to get used to it. I'm not 100% sure why. This is a hard to review book because it's one of those books that it was good but you don't have much to say about it. I feel like there may have been a scene where they caught older kids smoking or something. Don't take my word for that because it's been a while since I've read it and I'm not 100% sure that that's true. Anyway, I would recommend this. Next is Summer of the Gypsy Moths by Sarah Pennypacker. This book follows 2 girls named Stella and Angel. Stella's mom lost custody of her and now she's living with her great aunt, and Angel is a foster kid that the great aunt took in. The 2 girls really hate each other, but one day they come home from school to find that the great aunt has died. Neither one of them want to be put in another foster home, so they devise a scheme in which they trick everyone around into thinking that she is still alive. I really enjoyed this book. I read it pretty quickly. It was interesting all the way through. It's one of those stories that feel kind of sentimental and meaningful, which I personally really enjoy. It did have a few creepy parts in it that you should be aware of. For example, the dead body part. I would say this book is above average, but not by much. It is up there, but I probably wouldn't regret not reading it. It is worth checking out if it sounds interesting to you. There's also a point in which the main character mentions seeing a family with 2 moms, so you can take that information as you will. Next is Tuck Everlasting by Natalie Babbitt. This book follows a girl named Winnie as she discovers this family of immortals, as well as the magical spring that turned them into immortals. This book I thought was very disappointing. I really liked the synopsis, and I think there are a million things she could have done with that story idea, and this just wasn't one of the better things I think could be done with it. The story was very short and uneventful. It felt like it took place in like a 30-minute period. None of the characters were all that interesting. It had some cool similes and cool conversation topics in it, but overall I don't think I recommend this one. Next, I have The Swap by Megan Schull. This book follows 2 middle schoolers named Jack and Ellie who don't know each other very well but one day find themselves in each other's bodies. I really enjoyed this book. The story was very interesting. The characters were a little less interesting but still interesting. It had some nice funny parts in it that I didn't find completely hilarious just because it's not really my taste in comedy. I enjoyed most of the story except for the ending. I don't know why, it rubbed me the wrong way. This book also has some crude humor, and the author was very comfortable talking about puberty things in both guys and girls, so that's something to be wary of when going into this, and I would say that this is probably for 12 and up. It still was a very awesome story, and it's definitely worth checking out, and I do recommend it, but I would do a little bit of research on it first and make sure that it's something that would fit your tastes. And finally, Alice Through the Needle's Eye by Gilbert Alder. A lot of you probably know of Lewis Carroll's Alice in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass, and this guy apparently decided that there should be a third story, and so he wrote one. And I'm very glad he did. This is meant to be Alice's third adventure into a magical land. This book plays with wordplay and poetry and nonsense, just like the original two do. The personality in it is a little bit different than the original, but if I didn't know it was by a different author, you could probably convince me that Lewis Carroll wrote this. Not only in the story, but also the illustrator did a really good job of replicating the style the original Alice illustrations were in. If you're an Alice in Wonderland fan who needs a third Alice story in your life, then you need this. I highly, highly recommend it. I also believe that this book is out of print, so it might be harder to find. However, I originally discovered it in my library, and then I ordered a copy off of Amazon, so it's probably not going to be that hard for you to find. These are all the books I'm going to be reviewing today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful, and if you did, be sure to like this video. If you've read any of these books, please leave your opinion of them down in the comments. Here's a sneak peek of some more books I'll be reviewing soon. I have some more book review videos if you want to check those out. That's all I have for today. Bye.